From the Cincinnati Gardens in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's Cleveland Crunch Soccer on Sports Channel. Today, the Crunch take on the Cincinnati Silverbacks. Hi, everybody. I'm Ed Vasinik along with Jeff Phelps. The Crunch on a 3-game roll, coming in looking for their 4th straight win. But, Jeff, this run has come after a slight bump in the road.
They had a 2-game losing streak and didn't play very good defense. 24 points and 26 points and 2 straight losses, the most they've given up all year. They tightened up the defense, and they've won 3 straight. 4 points, 6 points, and 15 points they've given up during the 3-game winning streak.
Now, the Crunch comes into today's game. Numbers down a bit. The flu bug and injuries have hit. Some guys you're not going to see today, Tommy Tanner and Obi Moname. Because of that, Bruce Miller has had to juggle his lineup a bit.
Andy Schmetzer's played a lot of defender this year. He goes back to midfield. And Henry Gutierrez usually plays forward. Henry will back up Andy at midfield today, so that'll be interesting to watch.
Now, for the Cincinnati Silverbacks, only 7 returnees from last year's team. Their biggest acquisition, the all-time leading scorer in the NPSL, Franklin McIntosh. He will not play today because of a groin injury. It's going to make it a bit easier on the Crunch defense and open an opportunity for Hector Marinero.
Hector comes into this game 6 points behind McIntosh for the all-time scoring lead in the NPSL. So if Hector gets 6 points today, he ties. If he gets 7, he becomes the NPSL's all-time leading scorer.
And we know Hector just went over the 700 goal mark last week, so he's got another milestone to reach. We'll see how it all plays out after a break. We've got the starting lineups and today's action here on Sports Channel. Cleveland Crunch Soccer is brought to you on Sports Channel by Fila Soccer. Come play with us, the official uniform supplier of the Cleveland Crunch. By MTD, for a growing soccer world. The Illuminating Company, bringing new power to you. By Bryant and Stratton College, the career college of choice in Northeast Ohio. By Arby's, it's better out there. BP. At BP, everything we do is to keep you moving. By the Peak at Marymount. Go where the pro athletes go. And by your hometown proud IGA supermarket.
Believing I could make a difference wasn't a problem. I just didn't know how. I knew I couldn't do everything, but I could do one thing at a time. And I realized I wasn't the only one out there. I've learned so much from so many different people. It's been great getting involved. Team up with your community.
Hi, everybody. I'm Les Levine, sitting on the set of More Sports Channel and Les Levine, and you can be the first one on your block to purchase a How Come Quickie t-shirt, How Come Quickie sweatshirt, or the How Come Quickie More Sports Channel and Les Levine mug. Mugs are $12, t-shirts $19, and sweatshirts $29, plus shipping and tax. And you can order them right now, 1-800-391-4976, 1-800-391-4976. Supplies are limited, so call right now.
The reason you use real hockey players in a hockey movie is that they'll give suggestions that'll enrich the story.
You need stronger allegory, like Bergman.
Yeah, I want the referee to be the Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper.
I encourage an open exchange of ideas.
All right, it's like in Porky's. See that? Porky's.
There are little story nuances, these guys.
You're placing structure before atmosphere. I mean, didn't you learn anything working with Altman?
The Independent Film Channel. TNN Motorsports. Make the right move. Follow the leader. TNN Motorsports. It's really very simple. You're watching the best motorsports coverage in the world. TNN Motorsports. TNN Motorsports. Keep your eye on the leader. It doesn't get any closer.
This message brought to you locally by Waco Truck and Off-Road Center.
Ford Explorer has been Northeast Ohio's best-selling sport utility for 5 straight years. Since Explorer's introduction, no other vehicle in its class has matched its combination of style, comfort, and toughness. And now your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer offers you something else no one can match. Special lease rates. That's right. Low monthly lease rates on an Explorer equipped with a powerful V8, leather interior, power locks and windows, CD player, and much more. Ford Explorer. Only in your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer. Home of 7 of the 10 bestsellers again.
And we're back at Cincinnati Gardens, where the Silverbacks getting their our introductions before this Saturday afternoon crowd. Silverbacks coached by former Crunch player George Fernandez. He'll be coming out very shortly. And here's the starting lineup for the Cleveland Crunch. Jeff, you told us a little bit about this.
There are a few changes on this. Otto Wharf back in goal. He's been back a couple of games from the World Championships. Glenn Carbonera, Tim Tima on defense. Midfielder, Andy Schmetzer. Andy's been playing a little defense this year. Now he moves back to midfield. And then we have Zoran Karic and Nicky Vignovic starting at forward.
Now, for those of you who haven't been following very closely to Crunch Soccer, a few games ago, Bruce Miller made a decision to split up the dynamic duo, at least for a little while. So actually, Zoran and Hector aren't playing on the same line at this point, and it's actually worked in the Crunch's benefit.
The Crunch has done an outstanding job. They've really concentrated on the defense, and that's the thing that really snapped them out of their little two-game losing streak. But it's really, I think it's kind of spread the offense around a little bit, Ed. It's helped Nicky Vignovic quite a bit, and then Hector playing with Henry Gutierrez has been a real nice mix, even though Henry's going to be at the midfield position today.
Well, one of the things you said about Vignovic, you know, he's had a little bit of communication problems on the second line. He doesn't speak all that great English right now, and being with Zorn, it helps make it easy for him a bit. We're going to take a look at the league standings. The Crunch at top. Well, we'll start over in the Eastern Division, where the new Philadelphia Kicks are at the top of the table there with a 7-4 record. Dave McWilliams really has the Kicks out to a great start, but they've lost 3 in a row, and Baltimore is sneaking up.
Yeah, they were 7-1 and really surprising a lot of people. Now coming back to earth a little bit.
Over in the Central, there's the Cleveland Crunch at 9-2, and 6 of those 9 wins for Cleveland have come against the other 2 teams you see on that screen.
A lot of folks thought that this was the weakest division overall in the NPSL, and the reason why, because of Cincinnati and Columbus. They've had a real tough time with it.
And we'll take a bit of a look down at the field for our national anthem. Let's switch over to the National Conference in the NPSL as we continue looking at how this is shaping up in the early go. And look at the Detroit Rockers. Only 14 wins all of last season. They've got half of them already.
And a big one against the Crunch. That's the game that really kind of got the Crunch going. They gave up a ton of points, 26, at the Convocation Center. And they were held to under 10 points, and that rarely happens. Only one time all last year.
And a coaching change in Toronto. Art Kramer,
your buddy,
former broadcast partner of mine, is the new head coach of the Toronto Shooting Stars. And finally, in the Midwest Division of the National Conference, that is going to be a race the entire season, no question about it.
3 very strong teams in St. Louis, Kansas City, and Wichita. And Milwaukee's no slouch either. And they play in a great facility and have great fan support up there. So that's the division to really watch.
We touched on it a little bit in the Open. The Crunch has been very successful against Cincinnati, and there's a look at some of the numbers.
It's kind of amazing. 7-0 since the team moved from Dayton, and they've never lost to the Cincinnati Silverbacks. Now, one thing Bruce Miller is concerned about, they play 8 times this year. You play a team 8 times in a season, chances are you're going to lose one. And Bruce is just, you know, there's some people out today, some injuries, some flu problems. So this is a game where he really wants the guys to really concentrate because there are some things going against the Crunch today.
For the Cleveland Crunch, there he is, the November Defensive Player of the Month. Otto Wharf, he leads the league in wins with 8. He had just an absolutely spectacular month of November, going 5-0 with a points against of 10.20. He also had a goal in Columbus where he threw it the length of the floor. Otto just back from Spain with the U.S. national team. Over on the other side of the floor, a very, very underrated and very, very capable goalkeeper in Carlos Pena. 3-5, 13.90 points against, and we are underway. It's showtime here at Cincinnati Gardens. The Crunch and the Cincinnati Silverbacks. There's the player, Coach George Fernandez, on the ball, playing it down the near boards. It comes out to the midfield, and Mike Arujo, their leading scorer, to Danny Pena, plays the backboards. In front is Nicky Vinovich, and he takes it away from Brad Smith.
Kind of interesting to see George Fernandez out there against his old teammates. In fact, they're all great friends. Hector Marinero's birthday yesterday, and George came to the hotel, and the guys went out and celebrated Hector's birthday together. So, celebration last night, competition today.
Exactly. George has had some coaching experience in the past. He was the Coach of the Year in the CISO at the Anaheim Splash a couple of seasons ago. And there is Fernandez with the ball as we speak. To Danny Pena, Carlos, his brother, plays it down into Brad Smith, a veteran of indoor awards. Very tough player. There's a couple of guys at it there. Danny Pena in the overlap, top of the D, cut it back. Vinovich there for the block, and Andy Schmetzer will play it up the board to Nicky. Nicola has had some very big games on Sports Channel. In our opener, he got himself 8 points, and then had the cycle against Columbus in our second broadcast. Doran Carriage leads the league in scoring off high off the glass. Vinovich didn't get much on it. Pena able to handle it.
Crunch comes into this game with the first, second, fourth, and sixth leading scorers in the NPSL. So there is plenty of offense for the Crunch, no question about it.
Yeah,
Hector number 1, Thorin 2, Nicky is 4th, and Henry Gutierrez is 6th.
And as a team, the Crunch averaging just shy of 18 points a game. They are tops in the league. The closest in that category right now is St. Louis. Here comes John Ball after a steal. Rene Ortiz went in hard. Ball continued on, and he got some help for Cincinnati and Darko Kolic. Along the near boards, tries to play it up to Bernie Lillevoix. Otto is there at the edge of the penalty area to collect. The outlet goes to Glenn Carbonera, plays the boards. Todd Desosky will retrieve it in the corner with Rene Ortiz on him. Ortiz just recently signed by the Silverbacks. Jim Finn allows that to roll to the feet of Henry Gutierrez. Cuts it back neatly, then picked up by Rudy Doliscat. Marinero played it into the area, and Pena will collect.
Carlos Pena is back in the lineup for the Silverbacks today. Missed the last couple of games with a concussion. Was hit in the face on a shootout and was out for a couple of games.
That was against the Kansas City attack. Brian Lofton hit him with a rocket. Actually snapped his head back, and he's been out for a couple of games. A foul called against Gutierrez. There's Bruce Miller, the head coach of the Crunch. 40-11 during the regular season is Bruce Miller, and as we told you, George Fernandez behind the bench, actually in front of the bench for the Cincinnati Silverbacks. He takes over from Gary Hinley, who is now in Buffalo. George was Hinley's assistant coach. A lot of familiar faces on the Silverback side.
Wes Sechrist, former Crunch player, not playing today. He's out with bronchitis, but he played at the Convocation Center last Sunday.
The ball for an overlapping Gutierrez. He tracks it down with Doliscat on him. The double team quickly, and Ortiz able to get it back to Pena. Cincinnati doing a nice job of getting over there and putting the clamps on quickly with Gutierrez. This is Brad Smith. To Doliscat. He was in Buffalo last year. George Fernandez, 35-year-old left-footed player. He comes to the yellow line. Here's a left-footed shot. Otto bats it aside. The rebound in front of goal, and Brad Smith actually made the block on Arujo's shot. Schmetzer leads the Crunch back left to right. Vinovich on the outside will blast one off of Fernandez. It carries on. Pena made the stop. It's up and out, and the Crunch will get a free kick.
Carlos Pena hurt in the first quarter when he suffered that concussion, played the entire second quarter, and then said at halftime he didn't remember any bit of it, not at all. So he missed a couple, but he's back in there tonight.
Free kick will come top of the D. Zoran leads the league with 70 points. Marinero, oh boy. He got under that a bit.
And it stuck. It's up in the curtain somewhere.
As Jeff told you, Hector celebrating his 32nd birthday yesterday.
Time to get a new ball. Here we go.
Gary Huber says, bring him on out. The officials, I don't know if we gave him your way. Gary Huber with Walt Jones.
Somebody could end up with a great souvenir.
Exactly.
Like maybe in the next week or so.
Told you the Crunch is on a 3-game winning streak. Cincinnati looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Good work there by Scott Blocker to get it upfield. And the Silverbacks possess. They have been atrocious in the first quarter this season.
And a big part of that is because they played the Crunch in the first quarter, and the Crunch has been terrific. Outscored Cincinnati 10-3 in the first quarter of their first game, and then 13-2 on Sunday at the Convocation Center.
All told, Cincinnati has been outscored 48-20 in the first quarter. Here's John Ball! He just missed to the near side as Vignovic laid him a pass to his left peg. Carries on. Vignovic, he got under it. Boy, there must be something in the water today. Crunch getting under a couple of efforts, and that's going to lead us to a break. We've got 10:13 to go in the first quarter. No score, the Crunch and the Silverbacks.
I don't know what came over me. I didn't use BP 93. Now I have fuel line freeze, you see, so they're coming to tow me away. They're coming to tow me away.
They won't be towing you away if you use BP Super 93 with Ice Guard. It's guaranteed to prevent fuel line freeze-up. You go, or BP pays the tow.
I only have myself to blame. All gasolines are not the same, and they're coming to tow me away. Hey, wait!
BP, we keep you moving.
What are you doing to the boards?
Throw elbow.
Guy's on a fast break.
Triple.
What guy looks at you?
Refer to his mother.
What's this? He's got it. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
No more.
No more. Wait, this isn't me. I gotta play with decency, honesty. I gotta play clean. Nice shot.
Back in Cincinnati as the doctor kid does some examination on the monitor. Long ball from Pena. Carbonera took it down and played into space. Gutierrez had trouble with it initially, now comes upfield. Gutierrez last season with 95 points, 36 to this point this year. Crunching some tight spaces. Otto will wait for it to get back in the box so he can claw it. And we'll bring it forward.
It might take a little while to get things adjusted offensively with some of the guys out of there. Tommy Tanner not there. Henry's playing midfield today, and it's a little bit of an adjustment for him.
Despite the fact that Cincinnati is terrible in the first quarter, they are a very defensive-minded team, coached by George Fernandez. And talking to some of the people here, they're 3-8, but they've had some games that were decided by a couple of points, not getting the bounces, so not as bad as the record indicates.
But they haven't had much success with the Crunch.
Not at all.
0-3 and really haven't come very close.
Rene Ortiz in the midfield, played to a posting Brad Smith, looks for a runner, spins, Jim Finn right with him. He found Danny Pena, who had trouble with it on his way to go. Back to Rene Ortiz. Into the corner, it's Smith, holding off Finn. Finn is holding his own as well, and Todd Desaki are coming to clear up the mess for Marinero. Dalascat hit him hard at the half stripe. Foul called against Rudy.
This starts a very long string of road games for the Crunch. This is the first of 7 out of 8 games on the road. Their next home game isn't until our next Sports Channel game, coming up on December 28th against Milwaukee.
Into the corner. Dalascat there to get it. Played to Mike Araujo. Araujo spun out of that, neatly played into space, overlapping Danny Pena. 3-on-2 if Cincinnati hurries. Pena over the yellow line. Carbonera on the marker, trailing Fernandez on his way. It was blocked on the way by Marinero, and Hector got a foot in, but Fernandez carries on. Cheeky little pass there. Finn had it read. The ball goes back to the corner. Finn ahead of Brad Smith. And Finn spins his way out. Look out, Fernandez came in hard. The ball free. Carbonero got it back to Orr.
Jim Finn from Brunswick High School in Medina County getting a good chance to play today.
Vinovich struck it hard with the right foot. Ball will collect it in the midfield. For Zoran Karic. Z at the yellow line, three-pointer up and out. That'll give the Silverbacks a goal kick.
Zoran has been aggressive this year. That was his 112th shot this season, which is by far the lead on the Crunch and by far the lead in the NPSL. He has not been bashful at it.
No, not at all. Scorers think that way, and Zoran is averaging just shy of 8 points a game. He scored 70 points in 9 matches so far. Rene Ortiz, the left foot. Otto with the diving stop. That ball was ticketed for the upper corner. The rebound shot off the shoulder of Crunch assistant coach Tim Tima.
The other game that these two teams played here in Cincinnati just went exactly this way. No scoring in the first quarter at all. And that's where we stand right now.
Diving stop by Otto to his left. Bernie Lilleval will put it in play. Lilleval, 26 years old. Denzel Antonio mishit the try from out high. And the Crunch come back with Vinovich. Schmetzer, he's got Todd Jasowski overlapping. Pena there to mark. Todd will look for an opening and decides to possess. Tima playing in his 441st NPSL game, far and away the record. Vinovich left foot in front of goal, slapped aside by Danny Pena, and Denzel Antonio on it. Antonio actually ran the club here in Cincinnati when George Fernandez went overseas to Spain, playing that indoor tournament with Otto Orff and Franklin McIntosh.
The United States did not do nearly as well as expected on that, just 1-3, but the winning goalkeeper in the game they did win, Otto Orff against Malaysia.
10-2 is the final there. Game of against Malaysia.
No, Otto wasn't real thrilled with that whole situation. He didn't play nearly as much as he wanted to.
I think a lot of it right now in Otto's situation there is with reputation. Victor Noguera has been such a great keeper for so long, and even I haven't seen Victor play this season. Otto might be playing better, he might not, but just on the reputation, it's a tough thing.
It was tough for Otto, too, because he was in goal for the United States during the qualifying rounds. They came to the World Championships, and he didn't get the start.
Here is Marinero in the midfield. An overlapping Gutierrez has some space. Brad Smith on him off the board to get it through to the far side. Picked up by Carbonero. Jim Finn seeing a normal shift, a regular shift in this game. Marinero came flying by the ball, missed everything, and it got dumped in, headed out by Scott Blocker. And Jim Finn will possess. Left foot to the head. Marinero waits for it off the board. Marked there by George Fernandez. Double team help. Smith took it away, played the board to Rougeau, their leading scorer in the midfield. Finn stayed right with them and slowed down the attack. Good work by the Crunch defense. Michael Rougeau played only 8 games last season, limited a lot by a hernia, only had 8 points. This year he has 35 points in 11 games. Dulescat played far post. This is Rougeau takes it down there. Play back for Danny Pena.
Rougeau had a couple of goals last Sunday in Cleveland, too.
Brad Smith, an overlapping, trailing of Fernandez. Here he comes. Doesn't have an opening. They'll play back to Dulescat. Walked around Marinero in the midfield. Played up to Danny Pena. Now Rougeau comes in. A lot of movement from the Silverbacks, but they haven't gotten anywhere with it. Here comes Marinero on the steal. An overlap from Gutierrez. 2v3. Topo just missed wide. Didn't miss by much. The Crunch get it back. This is Karic. Chipped it in. Dulescat took it off the chest, and Pena starts off the line to snag it. Under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter, and we are scoreless. Lillevoix, the volley. Pena got just a bit under it. Sweet looking play as it developed.
Guys are pretty strong with the foot today. Everybody's been booting him way over the goal without really coming too close. 3 games between these teams this year. Crunch won the first game 20-14 in Cleveland. They took a big lead in the first quarter, 10-3. Then here in Cincinnati, it was 19-12. Crunch was down 8-2 in that game in the second quarter. And then last Sunday in Cleveland, a big 13-2 lead in the first quarter for the Crunch. And they just kind of coasted in from there, 26-15.
That was very important to get that lead because it was their third game in 3 nights. And Bruce Miller said it's a good thing we jumped out because we ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Actually, Cincinnati maybe outplayed them, and it was an even game on the score sheets the rest of the way.
Cincinnati was terrific late, but the Crunch with the big lead.
Once again, another ball goes flying into the seats. That's going to let us get out of here for a moment. No score late in the first quarter.
They're the tools of the trade, treasures from the field, court, and rink. Autographed memorabilia and trading cards from the biggest names in sports, past, present, and future. And the best part is, they're all available for purchase, right from your home. I'm Mike Burkus. Join me and Doug Gold each week here on Sports Channel for your chance to pick up a piece of the game.
It's a big, wide world. And America is quickly discovering there's room for more than one voice in music television. Open your eyes to Much Music, an alternative concept in music television. 24 hours a day, Much Music is all about music. Open your eyes to a more diverse and adventurous playlist coming to you from the out-of-control rooms of Much Music. Get in on the best-kept secret in music television, Much Music.
Call your local cable operator and ask for Much Music today.
Back at the Gardens in Cincinnati, we are scoreless as the Crunch and the Silverbacks hook up for the 4th time out of the 8 that they will see one another this season. Crunch looking to continue the domination. Pena with carrots all over him, got it up the boards. And Denzel Antonio, a perennial all-star in the NPSL. Foul called against Cincinnati. Unless Walt Jones pointed the incorrect direction, now is called against the Crunch. Andy Schmetzer's numbers leads the team in blocks, and he's playing a midfield spot. This goes back to what I've been saying a long time about Andy. He's like a piece of clay, Jeff. You just, wherever you need him,
he fits.
Stick him in that spot.
He can play any position on the field, including goalkeeper in a pinch.
And you know what? He doesn't really care where you stick him, just as long as he's helping out. Ortiz, the left foot, blocked by Vignovich. He's got a couple in this game already. Pena will play it deep. Lillevoix in a race with Tima. Tima went up and nodded it back to Otto.
Talking to Tim at breakfast this morning, he said he sees himself sticking around for at least one more year. Wants to get to 500 games.
In the corner, this is John Ball. Marinero out high. The right footer, it dipped on Pena, and he was able to stay with it. Carlos Pena, I think had he played his career on some better teams, would be regarded as one of the better goalkeepers in the league. Smith, the volley by Araujo. He just missed on the near side. Nice touch pass from Marinero. Springs Gutierrez. Araujo over to Mark. Now the double team. Gutierrez walks around it. The blue card comes out. The Crunch will have a shootout and a power play as Mike Araujo tripped up Gutierrez flying on by.
And Mike jumped up immediately and thought, oh, I didn't trip him. There's no way, but take a closer look here. We'll see if he did. What do you think?
He gave him a whack. I think his complaint is that he didn't trip him on his way to go, but a lot of times when you complain that early, you know you're guilty. So Hector Marinero will go to the shootout against Carlos Pena.
Hector is 4 of 5 on shootouts this year. And of course, Pena suffered a concussion the last time he was in a shootout.
There's the touch. Yeah, he missed wide the rebound. Swatted down, he still got it home. Hector had 3 chances. Walked away shaking his head. There's 1 point.
That was dainty.
He just kept whacking away. I'm going, the refs are looking at their watch. Tried to touch it over the second time and finally whacked it home. The Crunch on the board, and it gets tapped in by Dolis. Got an own goal. The Crunch wastes no time in getting both points on the penalty to Araujo. It's 2-0 Cleveland. He is going to get credit for it, I do believe, and he'll take it.
Kia was listed as questionable for today. He's had a bad back, plus Kia's had a little bit of the flu that's gone through the team. Tim Tima has a bit of it too, but Crunch coming through in a hurry. 2-0 now. The shootout goal from Hector, and then the 1-point goal.
They gave the goal to Nicky Vignovich. Warren Carriage will get the assist. It came at the 12:55 mark of the first quarter. 2-0 Crunch as we wind down. Marinaro's goal, by the way, is 11th 1-point goal of the season. He has 23 goals on the year, which leads the league.
And he's now 5 of 6 in shootout situations, which is among the top in the league.
Danny Pena. Fernandez walked around Marinaro. Couldn't get past Carbonera. Jim Finn will bring the Crunch out. Marinaro tried to whack it past Dulliscat. That didn't happen. Rudy will work his way along the board. Walked around Finn now to the yellow line. He touched the right. That could be 2 minutes, and it is. Henry Gutierrez just laid a forearm and a shoulder into Rudy Dulliscat. And that will give the Cincinnati Silverbacks. Now, Henry made no attempt to get to the ball whatsoever. So it's Cincy's chance to have a shootout and a power play. Comes at the 13:56 mark. Otto will try to stop Arujo here. Got the left leg out and took it away.
That was nice work by Otto.
Sure was.
He controlled that from the very beginning. Just took control from the very start, and Arujo didn't even have a shot.
Just got a toe on it as Arujo tried to work his way around to the right. So Cincinnati goes to the power play. The Crunch will defend with Carbonera, Todd DeSaski, Schmetzer, and Ball. Ortiz tried to thread a pass, got busted up, and the ball comes to the Cincinnati third. They called a push against Todd DeSaski. Cincy will put it back in play. Denzel Antonio. Ortiz. They work the perimeter. 35 seconds to go in the quarter. And DeSaski will loft it toward Carlos Pena. Crunch looking for their 10th win of the season. They lead 2-0 in the early going. Rene Ortiz spent some time in Milwaukee during his career. Out to Lillebois. John Ball ran into Ortiz. 5 seconds to go. Lillebois with the head ball. Slapped down by Otto, and that should do it for the quarter. There's the horn. And after 15 minutes of play, the Crunch get a shootout and a power play, and they lead the Silverbacks by 2. Second quarter on the way in just a bit. Stay with us.
Does anyone here think there'll be a cure for AIDS?
Definitely.
How do you know?
I don't know, but you have to believe. Some people don't believe AIDS is a problem that affects everyone.
And that's the biggest danger. People should realize AIDS is a threat to everyone.
I think it's just a matter of time before this is brought under control.
Some of us don't have the time.
The home team is committed. Committed to getting into the playoffs. Committed to getting families into homes. Along with neighborhood revitalization efforts, the home team is breaking down the barriers to home ownership, sponsoring home buying fairs, and providing free information. The Cavaliers and the Fannie Mae Foundation, Cleveland's home team.
approval or feedback. And we are most definitely not waiting for anyone to let us play.
We're not waiting for anything except the ball.
This is our time.
Lead.
Sports has always been an important part of my life. And when it comes to billiards, there's no place like Ohio Billiards of Belden. We're Ohio's largest Brunswick pool table dealer 365 days a year. Our goal is customer satisfaction, where high pressure is like sinking the 8-ball. We invite you to shop around, but we know your final stop will be Ohio Billiards. We use only Brunswick certified mechanics to install our tables. It will be the only pool table you'll need to buy, I guarantee it. Ohio Billiards of Belden, the billiard professional.
Imagination. At Time Warner Cable, we know something about it. After all, we're part of Time Warner, the people who've been sparking imaginations for years. And now at Time Warner Cable, we're turning our imaginations into a new reality. The future. Time Warner Cable. Imagine what's next.
All right, Crunchheads, welcome back to Cincinnati. It's a 2-0 lead for the Crunch over the Silverbacks, and those 2 points comprised of a pair of 1-point goals. Crunch getting an opportunity to go to the shootout and the power play late in the first quarter. Hector Marinero, watch this, 3 whacks at it. Pena stopped that one. Hector got fancy there. This time he buries it on his third try. You don't see 3 attempts on a shootout too often.
There's usually not that much time, but Hector stuck with it the entire time. Carlos Pena wasn't able to control the ball, and they really came through.
And now watch Otto Orff.
Here's the way it's supposed to be done.
The left leg. Sorry, pal, you're not going anywhere. And Otto made the stop. I think I told you Hector with his 11th 1-point goal. It's actually his 5th 1-point goal, and there you see the time, 12:51 on Marineros. And then Vinjevic, an own goal off of Rudy Dulascat, coming at 12:55. Karic had played the ball across the front of the goal, and the pace that the ball was shot across by Karic kind of wrong-footed Dulascat a little bit, and it wound up going in the direction he didn't want it.
Well, this first quarter went it was very similar to the first quarter these two teams played here in Cincinnati back on November 15th. No score in the first quarter of that game. 2-0 Crunch today, but we mentioned Cincinnati's trouble in the first quarter, and even though they only gave up 2 points, it continues. They're not able to get going offensively, but it's a lot closer than they've been against the Crunch in other first quarters. They've only scored 5 points now against the Crunch in 4 games in the first quarter so far.
You know, I think if you're George Fernandez, you're happy with that first quarter.
Absolutely,
you don't give up a goal when you're 5 aside. There are no restart goals, and the Crunch actually missed firing on the few restart chances they had in that first quarter.
Well, Crunch in a tough situation today. We've talked about the players who are out. Obi Moname has the flu. He didn't practice all week. He's not here.
Opening up his own beauty salon now. Otto, I don't like the way your hair is. I'd like to do this with it and that with it.
Have we tried less of a curl? Tommy Tanner's not here. He had an MRI on his knee on Friday, and it was negative, so Tommy's day-to-day right now. And, of course, Scott Schweitzer and Nicky Ristic have been out for some time. So the Crunch really kind of really scraping together a little different strategy for today's game. I know Bruce Miller spent last night. I had dinner with Bruce and Craig Yancey, media relations director for the Crunch. Bruce at dinner last night was, scribbling down lineups. I saw him at breakfast today. He's scribbling more lineups. Tim Tima was eating with us, and he said, I better get back over to Bruce. He needs some help on this thing here.
Actually, I saw a Fila designer uniform with the name Phelps across the back.
Well, they thought about it, Ed. They thought about it. I said, guys,
I don't think so.
Well, they have to pay me more to play than they do to
television. There you go. Second quarter just about set. The Crunch will move right to left. There's a look at the first quarter statistics. Shots fairly even. Saves as well. And 2 penalties, actually. The Cincinnati Silverbacks, one of the most penalized teams in the league. Last year they only had 237 minutes in penalty all season. They've already racked up 134 in just 11 games.
Danny Pena leads the league in penalty minutes, and then Wes Sechrist and Brad Smith are 4th and 5th.
Silverbacks come straight at the Crunch, and Antonio got off a right foot. Remember, they're still up a man Now with 41 seconds to go on the pushing penalty to Henry Gutierrez.
Henry's looking anxious over there in the box, too. He's ready to go. Andy Schmetzer out there with Glenn Carbonera, Zoran Karic, and Todd DeSofsky right now.
Otto and Andy Schmetzer working that beautifully in the back to rag some time. Make Lillebois chase just a bit. Andy plays an early ball into the corner. Ortiz beats Karic there. Holds him off. Good work by Rene. And ran into Todd DeSofsky. Todd tries to possess. Nothing else. Time is ticking on the penalty to Gutierrez.
Yeah, 11 seconds left.
And the Silverbacks with one more chance to bring it up the floor for a power play attack. And they'll knock it back to Ortiz.
And here comes Henry.
Front kill off the penalty. They remain ahead 2-0. Lillebois can't win the ball. Schmetzer a bit quicker, and here comes Andy up the floor. He'll knock it ahead, being chased by Danny Pena. Waiting for some help from behind, and he'll find it in Glenn Carbonera. Zoran Karic was the player of the week, second week of the season, the 11th time he has picked up such honors in his career. When you score 200 points a season, I think those are going to come around.
Zoran's had a fast start this season, too. By far the leading scorer right now in the NPSL, and really coming out to draw. And that's even with missing a couple of games because of an injury.
Great give and go with Vinkovic. Mickey will whack it down. It hops past Kima, who had overlapped, and Arujo will play it up the board. Karic, the last man on defense right now, and Finn will drop in behind.
Get through it, boys! Get through it! Get through it!
Heard George Fernandez yelling, "Get through it."
Nice of him to yell right into our field microphone, too, wasn't that, Ed?
Yes, indeed. I had a little talk with George prior to the game. Gets headed up and out by
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
He's so accommodating.
George has won 4 championships in his career,
including one with the Cleveland Crunch.
In 1994. He actually was part of the play that created the game-winning goal after Otto had headed the ball. George brought it up the floor, played it to Andy. Schmetzer played the board to Marinero, knocked it in for that double overtime goal. Fernandez, not only with experience indoor with the U.S. national team, he also played sand beach volleyball and led the U.S. team over the summer as well. There's the chip, the volley by Marinero. He missed it high. Vignovic will take it down. Hector plays back to Orr at his own yellow.
Did you say volleyball?
I meant...
I thought, wait a minute, is George even more talented than we thought there?
Sand beach soccer, pro beach soccer.
Boy, I thought we really had a talent there.
Who knows? He might have played
he
volleyball
too.
Big steal by Marinero. Early ball, Karic. Here come the Crunch. Z tried to walk around Ortiz, and Rene got a foot in to knock it aside.
That was a nice job by Ortiz. Henry Gutierrez was on Zoran's left side and in great shape.
There's Darko Kolic, left foot. Diving block from Tima. Back out it is Kolic. And Tima tried to get back to his feet. Stayed with it. Got a piece of it. Fernandez follows up. Into blocker, the right foot. Cleared out by Jim Finn. Front can't get it past Fernandez.
Darko Kolic is from the same hometown as Nicky Vignovic and Zoran Karic, Belgrade.
Antonio score! Denzel Antonio was begging for a three-pointer there, but he'll only get 2, and that has evened the score at 2 apiece. Just inside the three-point arc.
Nothing but power on that one. He just got it past Otto.
Goal comes at the 3:27 mark. Antonio with a powerful right foot. He actually is tied for the lead in three-point goals. With 5, he and Zoran Karic top of the table there in the league scoring chart, 3-point wise. Saw the power of Antonio's right foot. We're tied at 2. This is Brad Smith. Fernandez trailing. He tries a left footer that's blocked by Todd DeSoski. Todd will play long. Marinero streaking left wing. Dallascat over. Hector tried to walk around that, then met with a double team and lost the ball.
Don't forget, Hector 6 points away from tying Franklin McIntosh, or 5 points now, that's right, as the all-time leading scorer in NPSL history.
Hector is actually just now I think about 6 goals shy of Steve Jungle. That goal 709 for Hector, and Jungle had 715. Metzer waiting for an opening. Danny Pena stopped that. Team is coming ahead. Andy darts onto it, creates numbers for himself. Shot blocked by Dallascat, and they get it back to Pena. Carlos Pena, 30 years old, the older of the Pena brothers. Fernandez with the left foot. Collected by Scott Blocker. Blocker from New York, but actually went to high school in Washington State. Give and go. Blocker tracks it down with ball on him. Cincinnati, a very patient team, and they like to possess. I think they're really missing a score or two to make them a high-quality team.
Well, you can tell that George Fernandez is very familiar with the crunch and with their style of play, because they both seem to have a very patterned attack on offense, and I know that's the way George likes to play it.
I figure the more you keep the ball away from Cleveland, the less
the
chance
better
they
off
have to
you
score.
are. And it's paid off so far.
The 2-2 game. Free kick will come out to the right of Ottawa. To his right, on the left wing. Arujo. The chip, and Carbonera nodded in. Pena played it hard. Vignovic got a right foot on. Gutierrez coming forward. Soren along the board. Now to John Ball. 24-year-old from Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Into the corner. The trailing Carbonera, his left foot missed wide. Pena took it down and leads the attack for the Silverbacks into space. Dallascat on it, ball over to Mark. Dallascat on his way, played the board. Here's Smith, he got under it. Brad Smith with a golden chance and was unable to get it down. We remain tied at 2. Second quarter, we'll slip out and return.
Your independently owned and operated IGA supermarkets are proud to be the official food store of the world champion Cleveland Crunch. IGA Supermarkets, a part of hometowns like yours for 70 years, providing more quality, selection, and savings. Shop your hometown proud IGA. Save on your favorite brands every day. And follow the Crunch. At IGA, we're hometown proud.
Admittedly, there are some machines that are more powerful than MTD snow throwers. They're just not quite as practical. Nothing clears snow faster or for less money than MTD snow throwers. American made, American owned. Without one,
Honey, you okay?
it could be a long winter.
Welcome back to the Gardens in Cincinnati. At Pacific along with Jeff Phelps. The Denzel Antonio goal at 3:27 this quarter has equalized things at 2 apiece. And for the most part, Cincinnati has kept it low scoring by playing some good defense and just playing keep away from the Crunch. The ball in Cincinnati's possession has been out high away from the goal for the most part.
Well, they learned something on Sunday at the Convocation Center, because They fell behind quickly, 13-2, and against an offense like the Crunch, you're not really going to catch up in a game like that.
Gutierrez on a run. He plays across, carries the left foot. Pena came sliding across to kick it aside. Sweet stuff from the Crunch, just as sweet from Carlos Pena. Antonio has the Silverbacks goal. Arujo. An opening for Blocker. Walked around the mark. Otto to the rescue. Another chance for the Silverbacks. Fernandez with a rifle of a left foot, and Orr slapped it up high, and Otto's limping. The Silverbacks have caught the Crunch flat-footed the last couple of times down the floor.
Well, you have to have help from your defenders, and that's a big part of the Crunch's success, is they've had that. When they went into their little 2-game losing streak, I think Rob Marinero was kind of the fall guy for overall bad team defense, because Rob came back in his 3rd game, and they held Harrisburg to just 4 points.
Denzel Antonio with Carbonero all over him. Denzel will slip out of it. Antonio actually a graduate of Lakewood High, as is Wes Sechrist. Wes tells you not playing today because of bronchitis. And this is what the Silverbacks like to do. Antonio got a bit ambitious there from...
trying for a 7-point goal.
Struck it hard, but had that found its way home, it would have been a shocker. Silver halfway through the 2nd quarter. Game 3 of a 10-game Crunch Sports Channel package. So far, the Crunch has come up victorious on both ends.
That is a must, isn't it? Wasn't that part of the contract?
I think that was the fine print. Otto will slap it down as Marinero showed for it in the corner. He's got Fernandez pushing him away from goal. Hector is going to probably be called for a dangerous play as George got his face in on a juggling act from Marinero. Going to call for the trainer. Let's watch it again.
Well, they were out together last night celebrating Hector's birthday. And there George gets a foot in the face from his birthday pal. Accidental, but
he stuck his head in just as Hector had turned to volley it. It's leaning into a left hook there.
And did you hear the players? Shake it off, Georgie. Forget about getting kicked in the face. There we go. I think George might be doing a lot of coaching for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Exactly. If he can remember
his name.
Yeah. Now, Carlos Pena just back from a concussion on the Cincinnati side. I mean, it's bad enough when you get a kicked in the head or a ball struck in your head, but George was actually leaning in with force at the same time.
Yeah, take a look at George's forehead. I mean, you can see Hector's footprint on his forehead. It's all red and starting to swell up a little bit there. I don't think George is quite sure what sport he is playing. Maybe he is playing beach volleyball now.
Ice bag and some aspirin. All right, we're back to play. As Brad Smith selects in the corner, double team. He spun out of it, on his way to goal. Brad Smith is looking for a call. He won't get it. The Crunch counter. Marinero tries a one-timer across. Pena got there first. Kia with some chippy work. Yeah, he was tripped up and play will go on.
I like the chippy and the cheeky stuff here, Ed. we need an Ed dictionary.
We do, except I don't know how to spell. Dulliscat just pushed Marinero away and comes forward into the corner. It's Kolich back to Dulliscat. He took a lot of time with the ball and allowed Kia to get back into play. Dulliscat again on his way to goal. It'll hit high off the glass. Cincinnati with Pena holding off Kia. Strong work from Danny Pena. Pena has some words for Gary Huber, the official. Ortiz poked it in. Smith did not win the race with John Ball and gets called for the foul. John Ball very quick, as Brad Smith finding out. Once again, the Crunch without defenders, Scott Schweitzer and Nicky Ristich. Schweitzer with a toe injury. And Nicky had some knee surgery done.
Nicky's expected to be back sometime in January. Scott's kind of day-to-day right now. He might be able to come back a little sooner than that.
I think the Crunch really now, after that 3 and 3 days, have a little bit of time between games, and Bruce Miller's just looking to make sure that Scott's toe is healed.
They brought him back in the Buffalo game a little early, and then he had to sit out. He's only played in 4 games all year.
Antonio played it hard off the backboard. It'll come to the foot of Carriage. Played early. Spencer with Vignovich. 2-on-1. Here's Andy right side. Run to the corner by Arujo. Vignovich takes it at the D. Played it out high to Carriage. Silverbacks had recovered. Good chance for the Crunch there, but they were unable to cash in.
Silverbacks are doing a very good job blocking shots today and just kind of cutting things off that the Crunch really has going. It looks like the Crunch has a great opportunity, and then the defenders are coming up with nice plays.
Restart for Cleveland. The chip across from Carriage didn't make it to Marinero, and sprinting out is Lillebois. Played it into space. Pena will have to track it down, but by the time he got there, Chip Finn back in defensive position. The Crunch back behind the ball. Ortiz, the left footer, deflected off Vignovich, and Kima poked in and got it. Gutierrez had trouble with that. Ball spun out quickly, and here he comes. Gutierrez, a 92 draft pick of the Crunch, in traffic, and over and back will be called against Cincinnati.
Our score is just 2-2, which is a big surprise for anyone who saw last Sunday's game at the Convocation Center.
Carriage rifles one off the crossbar. Vignovich gets swatted away by Lillebois. He might have gotten away with a handball. I'm not sure of that. His left footer at the backboard. Marinero in front of goal to clear to side. And here comes Scott Blocker. His pass didn't make it to its intended destination. Vignovich in the midfield. Tried to put it between the legs of Blocker. That didn't work. Antonio played early. Coolidge. 2-on-1 for Cincinnati with Vignovich getting back. Jim Finn with a great bit of work in the corner. They're not out of trouble yet. Finally, Orff got it up the boards.
You know, Jim Finn's really worked very hard on his game, and it's really paying off in some playing time for him because he was not expected to get a ton of playing time for the Crunch this year, but with Schweitzer out and with Ristich out, he's getting an opportunity.
Here comes Marinero. They've got an opening. It didn't make it to Carriage. Hector had to wait for the ball to get in a position he could pass it across, and by that time, Cincinnati had recovered in the passing lane. Intercepted by Carbonero. Here comes Carriage, 3v2 for the Crunch. Left footer! Pena knocked it down. A sizzling left foot from Zoran Carriage.
It's one of the better looks that the Crunch has had today, too.
And with that save and a timeout by Cincinnati, will slip out. Tied at 2 in the second quarter.
You waited and waited before you finally bought a new car. 4 very long years for your first house. And that promotion seemed to take a lifetime. Now here's something you don't ever have to wait for. News Sport, the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week sports news channel. No waiting necessary.
Does anyone here think there'll be a cure for AIDS?
Definitely.
How do you know?
I don't know, but you have to believe. Some people don't believe AIDS is a problem that affects everyone.
And that's the biggest danger. People should realize AIDS is a threat to everyone.
I think it's just a matter of time before this is brought under control.
Some of us don't have the time.
There are the VIPs here.
How did they get our seats?
I don't know.
We wanted to do the game from there.
Somebody.
Wouldn't have been able to see anything, but hey, we'd have been comfortable, huh?
Is that the life or what? Their own version of the wave?
Yeah, that's the couch potato wave, ladies.
That one guy, did that one guy have a baseball glove on? What's he expect to do with that?
Foul balls.
I think he's going going to need one of those knuckleball pitcher mitts to handle one of these. They come flying out.
Yeah, there have been enough flying out, though. He might have a shot today.
Danny Pena with the volley, and there goes another one up and out of play. Pena is a 5-time All-League player in the APSL. Career spent with San Francisco and Los Angeles. Also had a stint with the Wichita Wings as well. Otto comes flopping out to the half line.
He loves to do that.
Half line. This pass missed Gutierrez, and Henry got it in the back, looking for a foul call. He doesn't get it. John Ball in perfect position to pick off that attempt. Gutierrez. Henry into a posting Marinero. Antonio, or that was Delisket on him. Araujo walked around, played the ball nicely, creates 2-on-1. Danny Pena being tracked now by Todd Desosky, and they'll have to get it back to Mike Araujo. One thing, Jeff, Cincinnati very slow in making decisions and making quick efforts on the ball. There's Ortiz, just missed wide with the right foot. He got it back. But Cincinnati has had a couple of chances where they've taken too much time on the ball instead of attacking at the moment.
Which is kind of a questionable strategy, because with the Crunch's top 2 defenders out and some new guys back there, it looks like a good opportunity for them.
Here's Ortiz trailing the play, walked around Carbonero, the left foot. Otto in front of goal made the stop with Pena knocking at the door. I think sometimes when you get in a possession game, your mindset is don't give the ball away, but
exactly.
You got to recognize those opportunities when they present themselves.
And be aggressive when you get them.
There's a giveaway. Araujo had trouble with the first touch, and there's another situation where had he made the touch and been able to go to goal, it would have been a good scoring chance for the Silverbacks. Hernandez stepped in, made the steal. He can't get around his old friend Andy Schmetzer. Then played into space. Lillavois making the run behind the defense. The ball is there first. Turned it out neatly. Then lost it to Teggy. Here's Doug. Teggy left foot. Otto came out to shut down the angle and make the stop. Now we'll go long. Eric's able to get a head on it, but not much else. See the score and the time in the upper corner of your picture. Marinero through a crowd to Carrot. The head ball stopped.
Nice job by Pena. That was sharp.
Some great work from Marinero to get out of traffic, and then a perfect ball for Carriage.
Zorn a little slow getting up.
Made the stop. There's the final rocket tour goals. 30 minutes in the book. Each team has 2 points. And we're tied at 2 apiece. We'll slip out and be back for some halftime fun. Crunch of the Silverbacks on Sports Channel.
We've always put power in your outlets. Now the illuminating company's going to put more power in your hands. The power to solve problems. The power to save. When our merger is approved, we plan to cut residential base rates by over 20%. And we'll begin by cutting your bill $3 a month shortly after approval. Stay tuned. The future is a powerful place. You don't have to be a pro athlete to need sports medicine and rehab. Sure, a lot of the people you see in the peak at Marymount make their living on the playing field, but a lot of them don't. They're firemen and architects and moms too, and they all have the same thing in common. They need to get back on the job. For professional sports medicine and rehab, call the Peak at 663-0080 and get back into action. Sports Medicine Center of the Cleveland Crunch and Lumberjacks.
In the new business world, change is not to be feared. It's to be expected. Forget about job security. Now you have to deal with downsizing, evolving technology. How do you get ready? Critical workplace skills to keep you employable for life. The real work experience employers expect before you graduate. Advanced technology and dynamic instructors to empower you. Where do you get it? Bryant and Stratton.
Out here, this is no big deal. Neither is this. This is what we call a big deal. Arby's $5 value roundup. Like the tangy goodness of beef and cheddar? Get 3 for $5. Prefer the slow-roasted flavor of regular roast beef? Get 4 for $5. Rather enjoy the authentic taste of the RBQ? Get 5 for $5. Your choice during Arby's $5 value roundup. So hurry in for a deal you can't beat. You'll taste why it's better out here. Arby's $5 value roundup.
At the back stick, here comes Lofton. Off with the stop, the ball free. Oh, blocked by Marinero. Hector shoots the score.
They're caught to tie the game! They're caught to tie the game!
But here we go.
The Crunch have won the game! The Crunch have won the game! The Crunch are the NPSL champions! The Crunch are the...
Welcome back to Cincinnati, everybody, as the Crunch taking on the Silverbacks. Seth Basinik along with Jeff Phelps, and we're at halftime here in a very low-scoring, even match.
I think it's stunning that it's just a 2-2 game at halftime, because this is easily the lowest scoring game these guys have had, at least in the first half.
Well, we tell you the Crunch averaged just shy of 18 points a game, and they've been held to 2 so far in a stingy defense.
Well, it was 13-2 last week at the Convocation Center on Sunday. The Crunch offense was terrific. Cincinnati doing a much better job defensively, and the Crunch doing a strong job defensively also.
There was a lot of action in the NPSL last night. We're going to take a look around the league to catch you up on some of the scores. Things that went on. The Detroit Rockers, one of the surprises, I think, a little bit in the league. They've been playing very well, and Toronto's struggling.
Well, Toronto is supposed to struggle. I mean, they're an expansion team. They have not had a good time of it, and Detroit really surprising people, especially the Crunch. And their big win in Cleveland helped them a lot.
As we move on, a win for the Baltimore Spirit against the Wichita Wings, and Barry Stitz comes up with a goal in an exciting game with 17 seconds left to win. And the Wings not doing well on the road, but not too many teams do in this league. There's a big win for the Milwaukee Wave. They're in that tough division of the Midwest. And
every team in that division is over 500, and that's the best thing you can say about it. No other division is even close to that.
Former Crunch player Michael King with 9 points in that game. Kansas City Attack, last year they won 18 straight games during the regular season. They are now up to 7 straight. Philadelphia suffered the loss there.
They're now 8-2.
And this is what it looks like tonight in the NPSL. The Wings will travel to Harrisburg, the State Farm Show Arena, and the Columbus Invaders go to take on Davey McWilliams and crew in Philadelphia. Baltimore home to Milwaukee. That should be a good one. And St. Louis and Buffalo, the Blizzard playing very well after a very slow start. And Tampa Bay will go up to the Great White North. A bit of a change in weather climate.
How's that for a road trip?
I'll say. All right, we're going to be back and take a look at the MTD halftime report with Joe Reduca. So don't go away. I need to change clothes too, I think.
Oh, good.
Okay. We'll see you in a bit.
No matter how well you plan for the holidays, some things you just can't plan for. Bulbs burn out. You run out of wrapping paper. You forget to pick up something for the paper boy. Well, don't panic. Your neighborhood Revco has everything you need, from tree trimmings and stocking stuffers to bows, ribbons, and tags, plus great gift ideas, too. So relax. We'll make your holiday turn out perfect, just like you planned it. Revco, a friend for life.
If you or someone close has been a victim of negligence in the hospital, you have a call to make.
My wife was seriously hurt in surgery, and all I could do was pray.
Maybe you don't know your rights. Don't just call a lawyer. Call a firm.
They said it was the anesthesia. Maybe it was them.
Nurnberg Plevin has represented over 60,000 personal injuries in 29.
If I didn't make that call, she'd still be a victim.
Nurnberg Plevin, because you won't get justice by...
TNN Motorsports. Make the right move. Follow the leader. TNN Motorsports. It's really very simple. You're watching the best motorsports coverage in the world. TNN Motorsports. TNN Motorsports. Keep your eye on the leader. It doesn't get any closer.
This message brought to you locally by Waco Truck and Off-Road Center.
Hi, welcome to Time Warner Cable's Road Runner.
Time Warner's digital online computer service. It runs faster than you've ever experienced, faster than you've ever imagined. But this is no dream.
Personal email.
High-speed access to unique local and national content.
Unlimited internet access with no time charges. No need for a dedicated phone line.
And files download faster than you can imagine.
How much does it cost?
$39.95 per month. Time Warner Cable's Roadrunner.
Welcome back to the MTD for a growing soccer world report. With us today is former Force player and former Crunch assistant coach Joe Raduca, who's now head of the Cleveland United Soccer Club. Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about your club?
My club, I started almost 10 years ago when I stopped playing for the professional team Force, and I'm doing this with a big progress. Last year, from my 78 generation, I have 18 kids, 12 playing Division 1, 2 playing for national team, and it's around maybe 600,000 scholarships. And I bring with me also here young guys. This guy just started with me.
Why don't you tell us about him?
Serba, Danny, Brian, and Mike. And these guys now start also in this soccer school. And one day I expect from these guys to play also for state. Already all 4 playing for the state, for region and national team. And also expect from these guys to play Division 1 soccer.
That's got to be a very rewarding experience for you to see kids that you started with go on and have success on the college level, even higher than that.
Yeah, also we have, like a couple of years ago, we have a kid who also finished our school, and was Tony Caesar, who was a Crunch player.
Right.
Yeah, and we are doing very well because in our club we have all professional coaches, and people like myself, ex-professional soccer players, who work with young kids, and I think you're doing a good job.
Joe, if somebody wants to get involved with your club, how would they go about doing that?
We have tryouts once every year, and after we pick players, and also we're giving chance to another players to come and work with our coach, especially with the skill. And we believe, our school believes in the skill and imagination, freedom, and why we have a success because of what we're doing. You know, we have an excellent school.
Joe, it sounds great. It's good seeing you again, and continued success.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's Joe Raduca, head of the Cleveland United Soccer Club. We've got more Crunch soccer action coming your way right after a break here on Sports Channel.
What are you doing on the boards?
Throw elbow.
Guy's on a fast break.
Triple.
That guy looks at you.
Refer to his mother.
What's this? He's got it. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
No more. No more.
Wait, this isn't me. I gotta play with decency, honesty. I gotta play clean.
Nice shot.
Follow the Crunch. Your independently owned and operated IGA supermarkets are proud to be the official food store of the world champion Cleveland Crunch. IGA Supermarkets, a part of hometowns like yours for 70 years, providing more quality, selection, and savings. Shop your hometown proud IGA. Save on your favorite brands every day. And follow the Crunch. At IGA, we're hometown proud.
Admittedly, there are some machines that are more powerful than MTD snow throwers. They're just not quite as practical. Nothing clears snow faster or for less money than MTD snow throwers. American made, American owned. Without one,
Honey, you okay?
it could be a long winter.
In the new business world, change is not to be feared. It's to be expected. Forget about job security. Now you have to deal with downsizing, evolving technology. How do you get ready? Critical workplace skills to keep you employable for life. The real work experience employers expect before you graduate. Advanced technology and dynamic instructors to empower you. Where do you get it? Bryant and Stratton.
At the back stick, here comes Lawson. Off with the stop, the ball free. Oh, and blocked by Marinero. Back to shoot the score. The Crunch are tied again. The Crunch
back in Cincinnati, still halftime here and getting set for the third quarter. The Crunch and the Silverbacks having at it. We're at a 2-all tie right now. I'm just along with Jeff Phelps. Have you ever seen anybody change faster than me?
That was very impressive.
You know,
Cities and close.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, we talked about the scoring in this game. In addition to the fact that the Crunch is the highest scoring team in the league, Cincinnati, there's only 2 other teams in the league that gives up more points than they do per game. So that, I mean, we got a lot of things happening today.
It was the first time the Crunch played Cincinnati here in the Gardens. They were a little flat offensively, too. Didn't score in the first quarter. It was 8-7. They were trailing at halftime, so they've been in this situation against Cincinnati before, but this is a team they've never lost to since they've been the Cincinnati Silverbacks. So they're going to have to pick it up in the second half to really get it going.
Well, let's take a look at some of the few highlights that we had in the first half of play. The scoring started with Hector Marinero, and we showed you it before. He gets 3 chances on a shootout, and Pena did almost everything humanly possible to keep that ball out of the goal.
That was a great job by Carlos Pena. I mean, he was terrific in goal. He did everything but control the ball, and that's what cost him.
He tried to get a little cute on the second one, but like I said, he buried the next attempt. So Hector getting a point, inching him even closer to Franklin McIntosh.
4 seconds later, Nicky Vignovich scored a goal for the Crunch, but then Cincinnati came back. Denzel Antonio with a powerful shot past Otto Ward.
Watch him get the ball to the right foot, and he knocked it across to the far post after eluding a mark there from Andy Schmetzer. And that ball just skidded under Orff, who might have been a little bit screened at the time. Darko Kolic got the assist, and that's all the scoring we got for the first half, as we're tied at 2. And here's how it looked statistically.
Basically, as even as the score. Cincinnati with more shots, 20-14. Saves even, fouls 9-6 Cincinnati. But it all adds up to a 2-2 game.
Both teams are making their way back out onto the floor. We're going to slip out and return for the second half of action. The Crunch and the Silverbacks. See if it opens up in the second half.
We've always put power in your outlets. Now the illuminating company is going to put more power in your hands. The power to solve problems. The power to save. When our merger is approved, we plan to cut residential base rates by over 20%. And we'll begin by cutting your bill $3 a month shortly after approval. Stay tuned. The future is a powerful place.
Out here, this is no big deal. Neither is this. This is what we call a big deal. Arby's $5 value roundup. Like the tangy goodness of beef and cheddar. Get 3 for $5. Prefer the slow roasted flavor of regular roast beef? Get 4 for $5. Rather enjoy the authentic taste of the barbecue? Get 5 for $5. Your choice during Arby's $5 value roundup. So hurry in for a deal you can't beat. You'll taste why it's better out here. Arby's $5 value roundup.
Admittedly, there are some machines that are more powerful than MTD snow throwers. They're just not quite as practical. Nothing clears snow faster or for less money than MTD snow throwers. American made, American owned. Without one,
Honey, you okay?
it could be a long winter.
At the back stick, here comes Lawson. Orff with the stop, the ball free. Oh, it's blocked by Marinero. Hector shoots it. No! The Crunch are tied again. The Crunch are tied again. But here we go. The Crunch have won the game. The Crunch have won the game. The Crunch are the NPSL champions. The Crunch are the...
And the second half just about set to go. The Crunch will have the ball and move left to right. Both goalkeepers the same. And the Crunch get it quickly into the Cincinnati end. Carrots had nipped in ahead of Antonio, but Antonio came away the winner in that battle when it was all over.
George Fernandez back. He was kicked in the face by Hector accidentally in the second quarter, and good to see George remembers his name and what sport he was playing at the moment.
He went to the correct locker room, and he was in on the right bench. So those are victories as he fouls Nikola Vignovic. Actually, Nicky has had some super games on television, as we told you. Had that 10 points against Columbus last time. Here's Karic. He'll try to catch up to a ball. He bumps Antonio off, but once again, Denzel, who didn't get the better part of it early, gave away the winner in the end. Here's Bernie Lillevoix. And this lineup for Cincinnati, Danny Pena is more of a midfielder when I think he's more of a natural defender. So he's playing a bit out of position with Antonio and Fernandez back defensively. It's John Ball getting better as the days go by. The developmental player. That's playoff action for the Crunch last year.
He was their second-round pick last year out of Southern Connecticut State.
Actually won the NCAA Division II championship as a freshman and as a senior.
He's 23 years old. The Crunch has always had a really strong history of developing its own young players and bringing them along, and John's just another example.
He misread the bounce that time, and Lillevoix was unable to get it between the posts, but a good opportunity there for Cincinnati. The ball skipped off the board just as we were praising John there. Carbonera stepped in ahead of that pass. We got a whistle off the ball. And to be honest, I really don't know what the call is from Walt Jones there. I don't know if there was a foul away from what was happening, but Cincinnati will get the ball.
Yeah, you notice the Crunch in their new uniforms this year, their new color scheme, gold, green, and white. Well, Cincinnati can change team colors and everything without even messing with the team colors. 6 team colors for these guys. We'll run through them here in a minute.
Gutierrez got it away. Dulles sends it right back in. There's Kolich trying to find his way out of a crowd, and that's going to be over and back.
All right, here you go. Team colors for the Cincinnati Silverbacks. Teal, black, silver, gray, red, purple.
Wow. Left foot from Ortiz. It bounces off the Crunch wall into the corner, and they get it back to Araujo. Right now, their basic colors, black and white.
Couldn't they have left it at that, Ed?
Probably, but...
Had to throw in that snazzy teal, you know.
You know what? That doesn't sell, Jeff.
No.
Let's get back again. The other thing Cincinnati has done for the most part with the Crunch in this game is to limit their restarts. I think if I remember correctly, it was about 6 at halftime. And basically a lot of that has come because Cincinnati has possessed the ball. They get in trouble or in a situation where nothing is happening up front, which it hasn't been too many times, they just knock it back and possess. Not a bad strategy. Not a lot of teams have been able to pull that off against Cleveland. Garrett along the boards, turns to face. He's got Ortiz on him, walked around him. Here he comes, a left footer. It skipped on by, hugs the glass to the near side quickly. Schmetzer got it back in front of goal. That got batted out. Lima to Karic. D sliding in against Ortiz, went for the steal. Vignovic followed it up. Now he's in a crowd. Gets it back to the foot of Karic to chip it, overlapping Spencer. Head ball just wide. Andy snuck in from the far side and Doran saw him.
That was nicely set up. Andy came in way from out top and Doran saw him all the way. It just didn't work.
All the attention focused on the far side of the field. It opened up some space on the weak side, and Andy made a darting run. Just missed getting one home. He'll bang it high off the glass. Garrett's got a head on it. That was hot to handle. And Dallascat will walk it out. 4.5 minutes gone in the third quarter. Crunch scored their 2 points near the end of the first. Cincinnati got their 2 points early in the second. Karic with a point tonight. He assisted on that own goal. Marinero on his way. Whacks it with the right foot. Carriage in front, a bouncing ball. Blocker got that first. Marinero buries it. Out of nowhere, at the 5-minute mark of the third quarter, Hector with his second goal of the game. He drilled it home, a two-pointer, and the Crunch open up a 4-2 lead.
And that gets Hector within 3 points of tying Franklin McIntosh as the all-time leading scorer in the NPSL, and here comes Hector.
A bouncing ball, he got over it and cracked it home. Marinero's 16th two-point goal of the season. We'll be back.
That was then. This is now, the MAC Now. The MAC Now is a weekly show that highlights the teams, players, and coaches in the Mid-American Conference, both on and off the field. From Eastern to Western, Miami to Kent, the MAC Now provides your weekly fix of Mid-American Conference action. The MAC Now is available on most of these stations, so come on, get with the program. Check out the MAC now.
Marinero celebrates his birthday with his second goal of the game. 3 points tonight. Soren Carriage picks up the assist. Actually, as I look at the official score sheet, they took an assist away from Carriage on that Vignovich goal. Kind of silly giving an assist on an own goal.
Soren second in the NPSL right now, 24 assists. He is 6 behind the NPSL leader, Margetic of Detroit.
Cotto off to an unbelievable start, assist-wise. Good work by Jim Finn with Lilliflaw all over him. Then he ran into a double team and at least got the ball upfield just a bit. Arugio plays early. Finn tracks it down in the corner. Lilliflaw paid the price. Oh, baby.
That was heavy. Jim Finn has been very aggressive out there. He's taking great opportunities here today. That was tough.
Lilliflaw will be feeling that. 5'10", 165 pounds. Scored 25 goals for the Anaheim Splash. I'm sure that's the connection that George Fernandez and Bernie Lilliflaw have.
The Crutch defense today has just done a terrific job. It's been very aggressive. And they've had to scrape a little bit because their two top defenders are out, Schweitzer and Ristic to begin with.
Antonio missed a volley. Marinero can't control. Ortiz is back. And Ortiz really added a lot to solidify the Silverback defense. Overlapping run from Arugio. Got a moment of space for Lilliflaw. And Cincinnati will go back into their modus operandi.
And don't forget today, Andy Schmetzer, who had been playing a lot of defender with Schweitzer out, is back in midfield today. So Jim Finn has done a terrific job back there. And as always, Glenn Carbonero.
Poking in was Danny Pena, but a good ball to Spring Gutierrez from Carbonero, 3v2. Here's Carriage with space right side. Pena knocked it down after the rebound is Z's in a double team. Play goes on. Zorn was looking for the foul in the corner, didn't get it. Oh, did he spank that from the right wing. Blocker coming ahead now. For Smith. Lays it back. Antonio's right foot. Diving stop from Orr.
That was great by Otto. He might have been blocked a little bit on that one by Vignovich, too.
Ends up Vignovich played to space. That's too hard and wide for Carriage to catch up to.
Okay, good Nicky Vignovich trivia here. His girlfriend from Belgrade is the sister of Sasha Danilovich, guard of the Miami Heat. That courtesy of Craig Jans, that little tidbit.
It's a small world,
It is, isn't it?
Brad Smith up among the league leaders in penalty minutes, as he usually is. 25 minutes for Brad this season. Ranks him number 4. Tim Tima trailing the play, got it back for Orr.
Tim battling the flu a little bit. Kind of got sick last night and hadn't had anything to eat today. He just drank a little coffee at breakfast. Didn't want to take a chance on eating anything.
I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing as many shifts as Jim Finn is getting today.
Yeah, Tim is not 100%.
He's been playing very well in this 3-game winning streak that Crunch is on. That's 3 in 3 days.
Well, he knows how to play this game. So that's the best thing that Tim Tima brings. He is just a very experienced, very tough, very hard-nosed player out there.
Well, there's not too many situations that are going to occur in this game that Tim hasn't seen. I'm sure every once in a while
5 or 6 times
one will
anyway.
pop up, yeah. 4-2 lead. There's the numbers on Tim Tima. Tim actually scored 4 points against Cincinnati back on the 10th of November.
I mentioned Tim said he wanted to get to 500 career games. And then he said, any player who tells you they don't pay attention to their stats, they're kidding you.
Yeah.
We know exactly what's going on.
441 for him this afternoon. And he's actually came into the game only 14 blocks shy of 1,000. That's a lot of bruises.
That is a lot of bruises.
Like,
you just saw that throw by Carlos Pena. Might see another one here. It was a nice throw, but it shows you the strength of Otto Orff's arm.
Yeah.
Otto there's so much speed on Otto's throws, and he gets such great distance out of it. It's such an offensive advantage for the Crunch.
Cincinnati knocks it in. This is Lillavois. He's got 7 points on the season. Keon for a rare shift.
Also suffering from a bit of the flu. Kia was a little concerned that this game was on live television. Between his back and his flu, he thought he was going to fall over dead on live TV.
Let's not see that. Left footer by Danny Pena, missed it wide. Marinero will collect the rebound, walk neatly around Dulasket, but his pass to the right side never made it. That's over and back against Cincinnati. The Crunch will have a free kick from the yellow line. Ortiz, smart play by Rene Ortiz, because as soon as he gets that ball down, the clock starts counting. Right foot from Carriage. Didn't have much of a chance, and then, whoa. Blocker just knocked it to length.
Taking a chance. Otto was way out of goal, and if it had been online, he might have had something there. Doran's not very happy here.
He's not happy because I think he was saying the wall wasn't back to 15 feet that it should have been, but you saw Rene Ortiz get that ball and put it down immediately, and once that ball is in place, the clock starts counting, but Doran was saying, hey, you got to give me the correct amount of feet. This time, Marinero will take it. He drills a right foot, got kicked out by both Dulasket and Carlos Pena, and Rudy Dulasket is hurt. Marinero in some tight spaces, still able to get it back to his keeper. Gutierrez on his way to goal. Back quickly is Brad Smith. He went for the tackle, came up empty. Henry's looking for some help. Actually, the Crunch is playing with 4 players out there for a few seconds before Vinovich got on. Henry's looking all over the place. Where's my help?
It was on the bench. It was there. It was just kind of sitting.
And he was open, too. 4-2 Crunch lead. Marinero has 2 goals. There's an own goal credited to Vinovich. Gutierrez tried to take advantage of Pena being off of his line.
That was a good idea by Henry.
Remember, your next chance to see the Crunch at the Convocation Center the 28th of December, a couple of days after Christmas.
And that is our next game on Sports Channel. This starts a string of 7 of the next 8 games for the Crunch on the road. In fact, we talked about that a little bit earlier. 4 games in a row. Today at Cincinnati, December 11th at Columbus, the 14th at St. Louis, and then the 27th at Kansas City.
Great work, and Gutierrez scores. Unbelievable ball movement from Cleveland. Carriage to Vinovich. It's strong. Gutierrez at the top of the D, and he side-footed it home.
Nice pass by Vinovich. Perfectly set up. And Henry right there to bring it in.
Vinovich will get the assist. Gutierrez buries his 11th two-pointer of the season. It comes at the 11:14 mark. Opens up a 4-point lead for the Crunch and slips us out to a break. Crunch ahead by 4.
I don't know what came over me. I didn't use BP 93. Now I have fuel line freeze, you see, so they're coming to tow me away. They're coming to tow me away.
They won't be towing you away if you use BP Super 93 with Ice Guard. It's guaranteed to prevent fuel line freeze-up. You go, or BP pays the tow.
I only have myself to blame. All gasolines are not the same, and they're coming to tow me away. Hey, wait!
BP, we keep you moving.
Follow the Crunch. Your independently owned and operated IGA supermarkets are proud to be the official food store of the world champion Cleveland Crunch. IGA supermarkets, a part of hometowns like yours for 70 years, providing more quality, selection, and savings. Shop your hometown proud IGA. Save on your favorite brands every day. And follow the Crunch. At IGA, we're hometown proud.
Henry Gutierrez ups his point total to 38 for the season. He has scored 6 of those points against Cincinnati this season. Great ball work for the Crunch, created that opportunity. And I was just going to say, let's see if Cincinnati opens up a little bit, but they really have no reason to do that. With more than a quarter to play, they're down only 4 points. Look at this battle in the corner. Brad Smith came away, but the ball rolled off of his foot.
Even so, Cincinnati has to get a little more aggressive offensively. They've been playing keep away without really attacking very much.
Well, eventually if they want to win, you're right, but I think George might be thinking staying in the game.
Yeah.
Jasowski Todd whacked it across the face of the goal. Here's Marinero. He mishit it high and wide.
I'm sure George is thinking if he can be close going into the fourth quarter, that's exactly where he wants to be.
Give us a chance to win. Be in a position to win. Tima, just off the bench, collects. Play long, Pena snagged it as he danced off of his line. Here's Mike Arujo. He had a 4-goal game against Baltimore this season. Zigging and zagging against Tima. Tim was right with him. And he'll play it ahead for Andy Schmetzer. Will it get by Antonio? No, it will. Now it will. And Pena bumped Schmetzer off the ball. That'll give the Crunch a free kick just inside the yellow line.
I think Andy's on the floor more than any player in this entire league.
It's bumped around. Carriage. Danny Pena paid the price for that block. Antonio head to the side. Marinero first to the ball. Once again, Antonio's persistence wins the ball away from Cincinnati. Schmetzer with a sliding tackle. It came off of Pena to the corner. There's Arujo holding off ball. Mike Arujo from South Africa, but played college soccer in Florida. Give and go, Fernandez laid it off. Pena scored! Good work from the Silverbacks, and they have gotten that goal back.
Otto Warp was a little surprised on this one. Thought he was going to get a little more help. Tim Pima was back, but just not quite in position to make the stop there as Otto went out on the ball.
I actually thought the pass from Fernandez to Pena was a little bit too far in front for Danny to collect it. But he got a toe poke in at 13:38. Danny Pena's 4th goal of the season. Fernandez will pick up the assist at 13:38, and it's back to a 2-point game. Vignovic gained some time and space. Being triple teamed now, just banged it off the boards. That will miss Carriage. 2-on-0 if Cincinnati can ever collect. The Crunch scrambling to get back. Here is Darko Kolic, and the Crunch back safely behind the ball. Rene Ortiz lights up a left foot. It gets batted around. Sema came away, played for Carriage, and Gutierrez will make the run on the right side. He's got Dolisket in the turnstile and got a left-footed shot out. Those two are going at it over there just in front of Walt Jones. And the blue card will come out. Rudy Dolisket, one of the tougher players in the league. And after that shot from Carriage, they got tangled up and started swinging at one another.
Yeah, they were both down on the ground, and the legs were flying, and so were the fists.
And we'll see what happened. Well, Dolisket just laid his shoulder into Carriage.
Yeah, just took him out. Soren took the shot, and then they ended up
he got a few
getting after it.
Waxing on the way down, and the kicking started. So both of those guys will
Soren too.
Sit and cool off for a little while. They're still drawing at it. Gutierrez trying to keep Carriage away. These penalties will come at the 14:26 mark. We'll see what the call is. Soren held to just an assist in the game so far,
which is a little frustrating when you're as great an offensive player as Soren Carriage.
Now Marinero will have a chance to go on the shootout here. We still haven't gotten the announcement on the penalties. Each team will have a shootout. Hector with 2 goals on the night, or the afternoon, and 3 points.
He converted a shootout, of course, earlier in the day in the first quarter for the first point of the game for the Crunch. 5 of 6 now on the year for Hector in shootouts.
There's the whistle, and he's over the glass this time. No second or third attempt for Marinero. So we'll go down to the other end, and Rene Ortiz will go at it.
A little different strategy. Hector went right after him this time with the one big shot rather than trying to take it off the boards and work something. It's just a 2-point game right now, 6-4. French have the lead. We have just 33 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Rene Ortiz, a left-sided player against Otto. This is worth 1 point. Otto in an argument with Gary Huber on his foot position, where he could start. There's the whistle. Ortiz angles off. Otto with a diving stop. Ortiz after it, but there's the whistle. What great reactions from Otto Orr.
That was sharp. And a little different strategy there by Ortiz, too, heading out to the left side. And Otto just threw himself at the ball and made a great, great stop.
Wow. Kicking is a call on those penalties.
I saw some kicking.
Yeah, I think they probably had their choice to pull out the darts and go, okay, which one will it land on?
Do we want kicking? Do we want slugging? Do we want unsportsmanlike? Name your penalty.
So we're back underway for the final 30 seconds of the third quarter and a 6-4 game. John Ball stepped in to pick off that pass. Carbonera poked it ahead. Antonio in on that one. And Denzel was born in London. Leads the way. Knocked it off the corner boards. Into space, Fernandez. Crunch looking for, or the crowd looking for a shot.
Wow.
They won't get it.
Didn't get one.
I don't know if George Fernandez knew exactly how much time was left.
Doesn't look like it, does it?
So we're through 3 quarters. A late goal from Danny Pena has cut a 4-point Crunch lead to 2. We'll see how it plays out in the fourth here on Sports Channel.
Believing I can make a difference wasn't the problem. I just didn't know how. I knew I couldn't do everything, but I could do one thing at a time. And I realized I wasn't the only one out there. learned so much from so many different people. It's been great getting involved. Team up with your community.
Approval for feedback. And we are most definitely not waiting for anyone to let us play. We are not waiting for anything except the ball. This is our time.
They stink. Where are the Golden Eagles? Speak up. Speakerphone.
Welcome to Team Line. Please enter your team's 4-digit code or press 2 for help. You have chosen the Golden Eagles. If this is correct, please press 1. Please enter your credit card number now. Here's your game.
The 5 touchdown Golden Eagles. They're
Live play-by-play from the flagship station. Call Team Line 762-TEAM.
Want to hear something amazing? Now when you subscribe to HBO, you get 3 different channels, not just one. No kidding. Every time you sit down to watch, you get 3 choices. See a hit movie here, or boxing here, or a comedy over here. You decide. And you get the extra channels for no extra cost. That's like getting 2 channels for free. Multi-channel HBO. Check it out.
Little village people. A little village
they're
person.
starting them young here in Cincinnati.
See, that's not only fun, it's educational.
Sure.
Teaching them his alphabet. Here's the stats for the third quarter as the Crunch takes a 2-point lead into the final 15 minutes of this affair with Cincinnati.
And when the Crunch takes the lead into the fourth quarter of a game this year, they're 9-0. They haven't blown a third quarter lead, 5-0 at home, 4-0 on the road, which means 2 games that they've lost, they were trailing going into the fourth quarter.
And right now we've gotten word that those halftime statistics are lost in cyberspace somewhere. So if they return, we'll send them your way. George Fernandez and Brad Smith, a couple of indoor vets. And it's showtime in the fourth quarter. Big steal there by Carbonera, but he doesn't have a step on Araujo. Araujo holds him up to the corner. Bad bounce for Cincinnati. The Crunch almost benefited from that.
Only one time this year have the Crunch not scored at least 10 points in a game. That was 8 points.
Araujo got one under the crossbar, but the foul called on Schmetzer. Walt Jones actually had to pick himself off the floor because he was diving to get it away from that pass out of the back.
Crunch scored just 8 points in their loss to Detroit. Their 2 other lowest scoring games, 14-point totals in their wins over Baltimore and Columbus.
So Jones is going to say that foul went against Cincinnati to give the Crunch the ball. Gutierrez has a goal this afternoon. Schmetzer dumped it in. Gutierrez tried to bang it off the backboard. It met Antonio's head instead. As we continue to play 4 aside for the next 40 minutes. With Rudy Dolescott and Soren Karic in the penalty box. Marinero tried to get it through Antonio's legs. That did not materialize. And here comes Fernandez. George looking to snap a 3-game losing streak here in Cincinnati. Playing without Franklin McIntosh, who right now is not the team's leading scorer. Araujo is, but he is the all-time leading scorer in NPSL history.
Unless Hector Marinero can come up with 4 points here in the fourth quarter. That'll stay that way.
Dangerous waters here for Cleveland. Cincinnati excellent on restarts as well. Antonio scores! Deflected off of somebody in front. We've got a tie game. Going to come at the 1:18 mark. Actually, I think it slipped between the two-man wall, which is not supposed to happen.
That's exactly where it went. Right between Henry Gutierrez and Zoran Karic. Or I'm Hector Marinero, excuse me.
Well, that wall is set up there for a reason. And it's to stop a ball like that from going into the unguarded portion of the net. Goalkeeper, there's nothing you can do other than yell at your teammates.
And Otto did a nice job of that.
Great ball to Danny Pena. He gained some space, missed the shot. The follow-up, a goal from Lillebois.
Right off the boards, right to the open man, and Otto was out of position because he tried to make the save on the other play.
2 goals in just over 20 seconds. Lillebois actually deserving of that. He was the guy who sprung Pena with that pass out of the back. Pena made a great move to erase a defender and gain a little space. And Lillebois followed it up to score.
Well, this is 6 unanswered points by the Silverbacks. Crunch did have a 6-2 lead in the third quarter, but it's now 8-6 Cincinnati.
Second goal of the season for Bernie Lillebois.
We're seeing more aggressive play out of both teams right now, Ed. More than we've seen all game long.
First lead of the game for Cincy. They play long. Blocker had it hop off hard. Arujo with a quick strike there. Andy Schmetzer in position to block. And then a foul called against Schmetzer as he took down Arujo.
Andy Schmetzer trying to be a nice guy, getting yelled at by Arujo. He was ready to let himself be in agony for a little while.
Exactly. Arujo chipped it in.
Arujo jumped up in a hurry, suddenly healthy, huh?
Go figure. Imagine that. Salascat from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Smith, a very strong player on the board, despite his small size, really. He only goes about 5'8" or so. Very strong legs and upper body, though. Jim Finn is doing a great job holding his own, and Brad Smith gets called for the foul. High marks to Jim Finn this afternoon.
Played pretty aggressive defense all game long.
Rene Ortiz, the only guy there. It'd be interesting to see if the Crunch starts applying a little more pressure further up the field. Try and create mistakes. Lillebois, Otto had to answer. And it's a good thing Glenn Cabanero was there because that ball was spinning in the direction of the goal. Here is Kolic. It gets swatted up and out. The Crunch in dire straits right now.
Well, for the first time all game, Cincinnati's really attacking. I mean, they've been very aggressive here since the start of the fourth quarter. Exactly what we talked about. Put themselves in a position where they can do something in the fourth, and they've done it.
Antonio's shot is blocked. Ortiz on the rebound. He has an opening. That gets deflected wide. Todd Dusowski has to do some juggling to keep possession and get it safely back to Orr. Now Otto to John Ball. They'll collect it at the half line. Marinero after a loose ball. He ran into 3 white shirts. Ball won it for the Crunch. Slid it in for Todd Dusowski. He ran into George Fernandez, and the ball bounces to the foot of Darko Kolic. Great ball Silverbacks had trouble with it, and Gutierrez is over to shut down space. Ground ball, clever little move there to gain a little time. Walked around Antonio, did Marinero on his way to goal, and his feet wouldn't catch up with him. Hector was looking for the foul. Tima got away with a handball. Smith carries out, he's open, shot it wide, and the Crunch get a break there. I'm curious to see what kind of discipline and composure the Silverbacks will have the rest of the way. Jeff, you said that they're getting more offensive. Yeah, the danger there is they start getting in a running game with Cleveland.
And they do not want to do that. Then again, the Crunch has been a little flat today, especially offensively.
This doesn't look like there's much sharpness or cohesion to anything that they're doing, and a lot of that has to do with all of the bodies out of the lineup.
Exactly.
Carriage left foot. Gutierrez got a piece of it, but was unable to get it on the target. Otto darts off his line plays early. See if he can get Carriage behind the defense. On his way to goal, he shot it wide as Fernandez made a quick recovery run after hitting the turf moments earlier. Under 10 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. A 2-point lead for Cincinnati on a 6-point run. Vignovic now with speed, an opening, big stop by Araujo. Vignovic carries on in the stop by Pena.
Yeah, Araujo did a terrific job because Nicky really looked like he was in a good position to get off a good shot.
Silverbacks with ball on him. Tima stepped in with a hard tackle. Early ball, 2-on-1. Carriage right side. He gains space and shoots it over the crossbar.
Had an open goal, too.
He did everything correct except finish. That's just a little indication of the way things have gone for the Crunch today. They get it back to Pena. Zoran just erased a defender with that stop and cut. And got more under it than he had to, needed to, and wanted to. Carriage posting, looking for the call, he won't get it, and now he'll sit in the box. Well, the way things are going for the Crunch, that's not something that you want at this point.
And it didn't work out at all like Zoran had planned it to. He and George kind of got tangled up there, and George a little aggressive, and Zoran wanted the call, and instead he gets the penalty.
So Zoran Carriage will go off and sit. We'll take a break, and the Crunch down by 2. Minutes to play in the fourth.
Just a little piece of paper. But this card from the Boys and Girls Clubs has kept millions of young people off drugs, out of gangs, and in school. Little piece of paper. Only a little piece of paper. It tells every kid who carries it that someone cares about how they grow up and what they do with their lives. Every day, another 300 kids will join the club. That's 300 kids who will be picking up a membership card instead of a gun or a needle or a knife. It's amazing, isn't it? Even still, there are thousands more children who need our help. You know, too many people feel like they can't make a difference, but I'm telling you this. Put this card in the hands of a child, and you will change that child's life. Do that, and you can change the world. It's up to us. Support a program that works. The Boys and Girls Clubs, the positive place for kids.
Here's the opportunity that Carriage had just moments before he picked up that misconduct. Watch him, he'll eliminate blocker there. And then Pena goes down. Zoran had to get it up initially.
Yeah. but he did have the open goal, Ed, and didn't come through, which does not make a guy like Zoran Karic very happy, and it might have just erupted here with the penalty.
And then the no call that Zoran got, or the call that he didn't get, moments after that, he let Walt Jones know about it, so he's off for 5 minutes. The Crunch do not have to play shorthanded, but they will be without the services of Karic for the next 5 minutes, and then they have to wait for a guaranteed substitution, so he could be gone longer than that. The penalty came with only just over 8 minutes to play. So Kia out on the floor now. Finn won a ball in the corner and will race out of his own end. Saski strong to hold off Antonio. Saski tries to walk around Denzel. 20-year-old won the battle there and drew the foul from Antonio. Crunch will have a free kick. Marinero and Viknovic get on. Gutierrez at the controls.
It's a good opportunity here for the Crunch.
Across Marinero one time, he hit the post. Didn't miss by much, but missed by enough to keep it a 2-point Silverback lead. There's Brad Smith. Araujo played the boards cleverly. Pena's left foot. He missed it that terribly. That'd have been an indoor highlight film goal had it materialized for Pena and the Silverbacks.
Yeah, that was real slick, taking it off the boards. He centered it perfectly. Instead, the ball took off conveniently for the Crunch. 6 straight points here for the Cincinnati Silverbacks. It's gone from a 6-2 Crunch lead to an 8-6 Cincinnati lead.
Viknovic held off blocker, but failed to possess the ball into space. Liliflau with the run. Caballero over there, and Glenn will come away with this, but as to get it past another mark before getting out of his zone. Marinero in a battle with Fernandez. George came away. And here comes Kolic. He tries to dart through an opening. Foul called against Cincinnati. Just over 6 minutes to play. Viknovic around to mark. He's taken down by blocker. Set it up! And the Silverbacks actually fortunate the blue card didn't come out, because it was clear that Viknovic was around that mark and on his way to goal. But a foul and a free kick. Marinero will take it. He shoots it off the wall. It came out high for Gutierrez. He'll play all the way back to Orr.
Unless things change, this will be the Crunch's lowest scoring game in the last 2 years.
Wow, not surprising.
Yeah.
Marinero in the corner. They finally get it to Viknovic. Marked by Teggy. Team on his way. The backboard, it skipped over the head of Pena. Ball got in there quickly, came crashing from out high. Kept possession. The shot from Schmetzer blocked by Kolic. The speed of John Ball wins one for the Crunch. Fernandez won a race with Marinero, and Hector knocked him off the ball, got called for the foul.
Just 18 points in the Crunch's win over Columbus on November 29th. It was 14-4. Crunch won that. And then last year, 20 points was their lowest scoring game. 11-9 over Harrisburg. Right now, 14 points total in this game. Silverbacks up 8-6.
Otto, once again, to the attack end of the field before giving up control. 5 minutes to play. Otto's going to have to scramble as the Crunch give it away. Schmetzer did well to slow down Araujo. The overlapping run from Danny Pena. Araujo's ball didn't get it done. And Cincinnati in control.
Only twice In the last 2 seasons, have the Crunch not scored at least 10 points in a game? 8 points in their loss against Detroit, so this could be their lowest scoring game in 2 years.
Still a lot of time, but Cleveland's going to have to get more aggressive pressuring the ball. Fernandez left foot. It got kicked out by Tima. Desaski on it. Antonio nicked in, took it away momentarily. There's an over and back, so the Crunch will have a free kick. And this is where they miss Zoran Karic, obviously. It doesn't take
Zoran,
brain surgery.
Zoran's a master of this.
Vignovic, the right foot. Gutierrez, Marinero, he mishit the volley, and Pena took it off the backboard. And a timeout call by Carlos Pena and the Cincinnati Silverbacks. We'll take one as well. The Crunch trail it by 2, looking to extend a 3-game winning streak, but they're down as we speak.
I don't know what came over me. I didn't use BP 93. Now I have fuel line freeze, you see, so they're coming to tow me away. They're coming to tow me away.
They won't be towing you away if you use BP Super 93 with Ice Guard. It's guaranteed to prevent fuel line freeze-up. You go, or BP pays the tow.
I only have myself to blame. All gasolines are not the same, and they're coming to tow me away. Hey, wait!
BP, we keep you moving.
You don't have to be a pro athlete to need sports medicine and rehab. Sure, a lot of the people you see in the peak at Marymount make their living on the playing field, but a lot of them don't. They're firemen and architects and moms too, and they all have the same thing in common. They need to get back on the job. For professional sports medicine and rehab, call the Peak at 663-0080 and get back into action. Sports Medicine Center of the Cleveland Crunch and Lumberjacks.
Just a couple of the Silverback fans here looking for a Cincinnati victory. They've got the lead now at 2 points, 8-6.
That was a 2-2 game at halftime. Then the Crunch scored 2 goals to start the 3rd quarter. And since then, it's been all Cincinnati Silverbacks. Danny Pena had a goal, Denzel Antonio, and Bernie Littleboy. And it is now 8-6 Silverbacks.
Crunch, one of the few teams in the league that have a winning road record. But in this league, the home team wins about 65% of the time. They get it in front of goal. It slides wide. And Todd Desaski came away from that limping. Otto got it down to Carbonera.
Todd's coming out.
Crunch in some traffic. And the slide tackle by Kolich takes down Gutierrez, but that's actually where Cincinnati has done a pretty good job of shutting down the Crunch offense right around the yellow line and just before they get into the attack third. Marinero played it into Carbonera. Glenn has just a point this season. Left foot by Vignovic, underside of the crossbar. Carbonera with a step into it. He mishit it. Unlucky for the Crunch.
A lot of power on that shot from Nicky, too.
He got it all. The double team out high. Quick step to the right. He shoots. Pena answers. Now the Crunch starting to turn the screws just a bit. Gutierrez on his way. Couple of fakes at the D. Cut it back. The pass missed Marinero. And will wind up on the foot of Orff.
Just 2:30 left in the game. Crunch needs to make something happen quickly.
Vignovic with another laser. And that quick move to his right has created a couple of chances here in the last couple of minutes. Foul called against Tia. They play long. There's a guy who has the goal that broke the 6-all tie. He played it hard. Big stop by Orff. Oh, Danny Pena was robbed by Otto Orff. Todd Desaski apparently healed enough to play. He He's in a whack-away battle in the corner, and the foul called against Schmetzer. We're under 2 minutes. The Crunch trail by a 2-point goal.
And Zoran Karic still sits in the penalty box.
A guaranteed substitution is needed. Dangerous stuff from Rene Ortiz, but he got it safely up the field. John Ball holds off a mark and draws the foul. Timeout called by the Cleveland Crunch. That's going to allow them to plot some strategy, and it's also going to allow them to get Zoran Karic off the bench, off the penalty box bench.
Well, the Crunch has been a lot more aggressive offensively here in the last couple of minutes, but they've been flat most of the game. And they're finally getting it fired up, and a little squabbling amongst themselves, too. Henry Gutierrez and Nicky Vignovich not real pleased with each other right now.
Hector Marinero has donned the 6th attacker jersey. Hector wanted to pass along a hello to his son, Jesse. But right now, Papa is in a bit of trouble, down 2 points.
You know, when a team brings out a 6th attacker, it usually works about half the time. Sometimes they go ahead and get the goal, other times they get burned and pretty much ends things. They have an offensive unit out there now.
This is the first time Hector has worn the keeper jersey this season. Andy Schmetzer has done it once. There's a giveaway. Marinero got in. This is looking good. It's over the crossbar. Lillevoix from 3/4 field. But that's been a knife to the heart. Hector into the corner. Schmetzer tried to play it across quickly. A sliding block from Fernandez. Karic. Kia. Vignovich.
1 minute left.
Vignovich. Kia in the corner. Played it out front. It's a loose ball as Pena had trouble with the spin. And a foul called against Cleveland.
Well, these teams will play each other 8 times this year. This is the 4th game of their series, and Bruce Miller is a little concerned. He was going into this because eventually you got to figure, 8 times somebody's going to get lucky and win a game here, and that just might be the situation today.
There you saw the spin that Pena had trouble with. By the way, the last time the Crunch was beaten by this franchise was when they were in Dayton back on the 21st of February in 1995. I told you that Cincinnati as a club has never beaten the Crunch. Gutierrez. The block by Fernandez. He took another one in the face, and a blue card is going to be shown to somebody. Boy, George Fernandez is just getting beat up. I think Danny Pena is going to go off.
And Carlos Pena is not very happy about this, and neither is George.
George doesn't know what happened. He was down on the ground after blocking another shot with his face.
Only 26 seconds left in the game right now, too.
Let's watch it. Oh, they called a handball on Fernandez. That was the call. They actually didn't get it in the face. It was a good acting job done by George Fernandez. So the Crunch will get a shootout and a power play. And Fernandez is going to get another blue card from Gary Huber. Zoran Karic now will go one-on-one. Fernandez goes off for a handball. So the Crunch will be in a 6th attacker plus have a man up. They need each of these points. This is only worth a point. Karic tries to chip Pena. He's right there. Now the Crunch might decline this penalty in order that they can get a 2-point goal.
Because if they score during the penalty, it's obviously only 1 and they're down by 2. And it looks like that's exactly what they've done.
Five aside. They have declined the penalty. So for the next 26 seconds, the Crunch will try to equalize. As Spencer got a hard left foot at Pena. Carlos will wait the 5 seconds, then play it long. Spencer stepped in. Pena will just dump it in. 10 seconds, it's Brad Smith. Marinero stepped in, got pushed off, the whistle blows, but the clock is still running. There was at least 5.5 seconds left on the clock. It says 3.1. They get it to Spencer. There's the horn. It's over. The Cincinnati Silverbacks have ended a 3-game losing streak, have snapped the Crunch 3-game winning streak.
But a couple of the Crunch players are talking to the timekeeper over there, seeing if they can't get a few seconds put back on the clock, and that is not going to happen.
There's the final score. We'll have some wrap-up stuff on the way after a break. It's an 8-6 victory for Cincinnati over the Crunch.
Grab your seat on board this season's wild ride to radical snowboard action. The top talent from around the world will bring you down the mountain and across the globe to the finest conditions you can ever dream of. You'll be turned around and blown away by steep Alaska, radical New Zealand, and Fiji barrels. And that's just a taste of where you'll ride, fly, and die with Board Wild.
Does anyone here think there'll be a cure for AIDS?
Definitely.
How do you know?
I don't know, but you have to believe. Some people don't believe AIDS is a problem that affects everyone.
And that's the biggest danger. People should realize AIDS is a threat to everyone.
I think it's just a matter of time before this is brought under control.
Some of us don't have the time.
They're the tools of the trade, treasures from the field, court, and rink. Autographed memorabilia and trading cards from the biggest names in sports, past, present, and future. And the best part is, they're all available for purchase, right from your home. I'm Mike Burkus. Join me and Doug Gold each week here on Sports Channel for your chance to pick up a piece of the game.
The home team is committed. Committed to getting into the playoffs. Committed to getting families into homes. Along with neighborhood revitalization efforts, the home team is breaking down the barriers to home ownership, sponsoring home buying fairs, and providing free information. The Cavaliers and the Fannie Mae Foundation, Cleveland's home team.
Cleveland Crunch Soccer is brought to you on Sports Channel by Fila Soccer. Come play with us, the official uniform supplier of the Cleveland Crunch. By MTD, for a growing soccer world. The Illuminating Company, bringing new power to you. By Bryant and Stratton College, the career college of choice in Northeast Ohio. By Arby's, it's better out there. BP. At BP, everything we do is to keep you moving. By the Peak at Marymount. Go where the pro athletes go. And by your hometown proud IGA Supermarket. There's the final score. It ends a few streaks. Cincinnati's 3-game losing. The Crunch's 3-game winning has dropped the Crunch now to 9-3 on the season. They are 3-1 against Cincinnati. The Silverbacks now go to 4-8, and a hard-fought win for them without question.
Well, it's the first time in Cincinnati Silverback history that they've ever beaten the Cleveland Crunch, and this was not a good sign. The Crunch was 9-0 when they were leading after the third quarter this year. It's the first time they've blown a lead in the fourth quarter and lost the game.
And there are a lot of factors, I think, that go into this final decision. Crunch beat up in the flu bug running through the team. They did not look sharp at all from the get-go. And the other thing is
strong defensively, though.
Yeah, right. And Cincinnati played a very intelligent soccer game. I mean, they possessed the ball, didn't give the Crunch too many restart opportunities, and were pretty intelligent with it the entire game.
Well, we talked about it in the third quarter. The Crunch went up 6-2, and we mentioned that they'd have to get a little more aggressive offensively, and you said, well, they're probably trying to hold it and get to the fourth quarter with a chance to win, and that's exactly the situation. They kept it close, didn't give the Crunch too many scoring opportunities, and then when they had to turn it up, they were able to do that offensively.
The winning goal came off the foot of Bernie Lillivois, and that's our big play of the game, our BP big play of the game. It came with at the 1:43 mark of the fourth quarter. Actually, two big goals. Good move there by Danny Pena that created the space, and Lillivois followed it up after he had started the play with the pass. It's our BP big play of the game.
And it came just a few seconds after Antonio's goal to start the fourth quarter. So two quick ones right off the bat.
Hector Marinero scored a couple of goals this evening. Nobody with big efforts, so Hector will be our player of the game. Our FILA player of the game, Hector Marinero, who had the opportunity to become the all-time leading scorer in indoor history.